Hello and welcome to another one in the series of Rebooting Your Life. And today I am with Katherine O'Loughlin. Have I got
Very
that?
good.
Yeah,
Yes, indeed.
okay. I've got that right. So that's good. It's a good start for a Friday morning. Um, and Catherine's going to be talking to us all about jumping off the fad diet roller coaster, which I think many of us have, different relationships with food, and actually Catherine's going to talk to us about her journey and also about how perhaps we could start to work on our relationship with food. So, Katherine, please would you just introduce yourself to begin with?
Okay, so I'm Katherine O'Loughlin, that you got right.
Yeah.
I'm a nutritionist here in the west of Ireland, and I suppose I mainly help busy women try and jump off the fad diet regime that we get ourselves caught on. By just making simple habit changes is mainly how I do it. And I just think a lot of business women in particular are really busy. We have families, we have businesses, and it's just, to try and find a diet that will help us with our energy and things like that.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at. Yeah.
Fabulous. So please could you tell me your story?
Well, I suppose if I go right back, I was only 10 when my dad died. And definitely I'd say the comfort eating started after that.
Yeah.
Now, at the time, I live in rural Ireland, so I lived out the country. I definitely wasn't involved in any sport. My hobbies were reading books, watching telly. So that was all I did, and eat chocolate. So it went on then. I suppose as I got through the teenage years, I suppose, more aware of that I was a little bit bigger because I was always very tall.
Yeah.
So then I started, I remember skipping breakfasts and things like that, but I'd leave the bowl in, because I used to be gone to school before my mother would get up. So I'd leave the bowl in the sink to pretend I had eaten it, because my mother would have been horrified if she knew I wasn't eating it.
Yeah.
I wasn't eating my lunch at school. I'd just throw that in the bin. I'd come home and I'd eat dinner all right because she'd be there watching me, but that's all I'd eat during the day. And then I would have obviously lost weight, but again, still not doing any form of sport. And I suppose then as you go through, we started at college, and then of course you start drinking, and wouldn't have realised at all that the amount of calories that was bringing on.
Yeah.
So yeah, and all the rubbishy food, and had obviously out of home then, so I wasn't even getting the home cooked dinner at that stage, so it was just all rubbish. So I do remember joining Weight Watchers while I was still at college, I had a boyfriend at the time who was really, oh, you need to lose weight. So it's kind of, okay, yeah. So I would have joined Weight Watchers at that stage.
You didn't
and very much
off then.
No, wouldn't have been brave enough for that. It was but sure, he was probably right. But from then on, I'd say I just started looking for which fad I could jump on. And, you'd start with whatever it was even Weight Watchers. You'd start at that, and I'd lose the weight. I'd be do really well, be really strict. And then I'd get to whatever number I wanted on the scales.
Yeah.
And then I'd give up.
Yeah.
And I'd say about a year later, it should be all back on again. So it'd be kind of, okay, I need to go back again. So I'd go back again, and, any fad diet, I would have done cabbage soup.
Oh, nice.
I remember doing Dukan diet, Atkins. I would have tried them all. And like that, they do work for a short length. They work while you're on them and while you're sticking to it.
Yeah.
And then I suppose I became a Weight Watchers leader as well. Actually, that was all before the kids. And I would have done that for maybe a year or two. And that was a real eye-opener for me, I suppose, the way it was very much a business. you know, the leaders are all lovely. Like, don't get me wrong, they're lovely women and they do try and help.
Yeah.
But it's very much run as a business, and it's just all about getting numbers and getting money. And like, we had a weekend of training. There was no nutrition training or anything like that. You know, we had a weekend of training, and it's all about their system and, you know, how to get more people in. And they let you off then with a few random lines. You know, if somebody isn't losing weight, you have well, are you eating enough? Was the first line you always had to say. And then it was, no, you shouldn't be doing exercise because that just messes around with the intake. So no, just maybe slow down with the exercise. And, you know, but I didn't know any different. So I went with all of these lines, and it was just crazy. So then, I suppose, after, just towards the end of that, I got pregnant with my daughter and had a lovely little girl. And I think that for me was just the turning point.
Right.
You know.
So that if you could pinpoint it, that would be a turning point.
Yeah. It wasn't even, obviously when she was a small baby, you're so tired. She was a very premature baby as well, actually. Yeah. She was only 2:13 when she was born. Wow. So yeah, she was tiny. And of course, the first couple of months are all a blur of pizza because you'd be too tired to do anything. And I remember, I'd say when she was a little bit older, maybe, I suppose probably a toddler. And you know, when they follow you around and you know the way they look at you with these adoring eyes, first of all, but she was taking in everything that I was doing. You know, it was around that time as well, because I used to smoke, you know, I was quite unhealthy. And I started trying to hide that from her. Yeah. And then I started trying to hide different things I was eating. And it's kind of, why don't I want her to see this? Obviously, because I don't want her to think this is right. Because I knew it wasn't right, you know? So it was kind of, okay. Then as they got, I had another child then as they got older and they started to get involved in sports and things like that, I was still very much at that stage, okay, I don't want them to ever struggle with their weight. Yeah, like you had. So, so I wanted to make sure that they had their weight under control always. Yeah. So I was feeding them like I had learned at Weight Watchers, you know, so it was kind of it would have been all low fat stuff. And then I suppose as they got involved in sport, I had noticed that, you know, there was huge, we say they were both runners. And depending on what they had eaten before a training session or whatever, it was really, really dependent on their times and things. So I was kind of, okay, there's obviously some correlation there. Yeah. So that was when I decided, you know what? Now, I do acupuncture as well. And like that, I would have seen a lot of people coming for treatments for, you know, stomach problems and things. Yeah. And you know what? This is all food related. So it was around that time that I thought, you know what? I'm going to go and do a proper course, a science-based course, and try and learn properly what I need, what the kids need, what I can advise my acupuncture clients they need. Yeah. And that was an eye-opener. Most definitely.
So would you say, so this course was this how you rebooted your life?
Pretty much was, yeah, because it was a 1-year course and it just made me realize, you know, all the shit that I had taken in from social media, and just hold on a second, you know, when people have these wonderful supplements to sell and it's all just rubbish, like, you know. And I suppose the biggest thing for me was it made me realize that you don't feed a teenage sporty person, we'll say, like a mother who does nothing during the day. You know, it's very different. Yeah. Yeah. And that was the one for me. It was kind of, okay, no, I need to take a step back and realize what they need, what I need. And it's not, you know, it's not having the piece of cake. That isn't the problem. It's I suppose, the guilt that people, especially women, you know, we're so hard on ourselves. It's kind of, we have something and it's, oh my God, that's it. I've ruined the day now.
Yeah.
And it's just to realize that you fit everything in. And that was, So doing the course definitely made me, I suppose, reboot my whole way of thinking around food. And that there is, and this is what I always try and get across. I've done some like talks in national schools, and it's lovely to do it at that age, you know, when we talk about good food and bad food.
Yeah.
And even at that stage, like I have a slide that I put up, and it's on the picture is all, you know, crisps and bars of chocolate and chips. And I say, you know, which of these is bad food? You know, the crisps, the Coke, the sweets, all of the above or none of the above. And everybody says, oh, it's all of the above. And I'm kind of, well, it's none of the above, you know, because we have to stop thinking of it as this is good food and this is bad food. And it's when you think of it, it must be so confusing for small children. You know, it's kind of, okay, you can have a bar of chocolate, but Mammy's not having it now because it's bad.
Yeah.
You know, so they're sitting there thinking, okay, but it tastes really nice, but Mammy's saying it's bad, you know, and this is where it all starts for them, you know? Yeah.
So it's that kind of, it's just rewiring how we think about food, really, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I even, I was saying there to one of my friends this morning, my daughter now is 15. So she is a real girly girl and is into makeup, and obviously her mother isn't. So the other day, I'm on Amazon and I see this skincare book. So I thought, oh, do you know what? I'll get her that, because she had a spot and I was kind of, oh my God, imagine at 15, like the end of the world. So the other night she's reading through the book anyways, and she goes, oh man, she said that this lady here is on about, you know, the nutrition for your skin, and you can't have sugar. Sugar is really bad. Yeah, sugar is evil, was how she had said it. You need to remove all sugar from your diet. You can't eat white pasta, white bread, white rice, because that's bad. And you need to remove dairy. But you say they're okay, ma'am. And I'm kind of, Is she a nutritionist, or is she somebody who puts makeup on people? You know? And this is what our teenagers are being bombarded with, is this advice from, you know, and like I say, for somebody like me who doesn't do very much exercise, you know, maybe that sort of advice it still wouldn't be great, but I can see where she's coming from. But for a teenage girl, that would not be good advice. You know? So
it's often where kind of a lot of those kind of different, it's hard enough, isn't it, in terms of kind of their self-image and self-confidence and real lack of there's, you know, it doesn't take much, particularly with girls, for them to, you know, really kind of be questioning all around kind of.
Oh, absolutely. And like, look at what they're being bombarded with, like the images that they're being bombarded with. This is the perfect body. And I'm kind of like, I've had to have the whole conversation with her about, you know, skinny and strong, because she plays a lot of sport. She wants to be strong. And I'm kind of, but these girls that you're looking at are very skinny and won't be able to play, you know, like she plays football, which is a real strength thing. Like,
well, we have, that transition into high school, you know, I'm very lucky. My daughter's very resilient. You know, she plays a lot of sport, very similar in terms of that, but it was just seeing everybody else and what everyone else should be like. And she's got a gorgeous figure. She's really, you know, she's really slim, but she has got some curves. But in year 7, it was like she said, "Oh no, I have to," you know, you know, it was like the thing was to be the skinniest girl. And it's really interesting because she's now in year 9. And probably last year, when she became more settled, friendship group more settled, she was a lot happier. She really kind of said to me, "No, I like curves. You know, I want a bum like that." And it's like, well, you've got a gorgeous bum, so you don't need a bum like that. You don't need to sit there doing 500 squats a day to do a bum like that. People are paying for a bum anyway. So, but it's really interesting because my friend came round the other, like last week, and us girls were sat in the room, all having a giggle. We've just had such a laugh. We've not seen each other, for ages. So she's got a daughter that's in year 7, and literally as soon as she's gone into year 7, it's like hit her straight away. So she's like, oh well, I'm not thin enough. So, but it was so good that my daughter was then having a conversation with her to say, that's what I used to think, and it's really wrong. So it's so, it's very easy for even the most resilient of kids to be.
Oh, absolutely. And you see, as girls, like their bodies are changing anyways. And the hips are getting wider and the shoulders are getting wider. So they're seeing the jeans that fit them last year all of a sudden don't fit them. And this is the problem. And this is, they talk about girls 13, 14, they're all dropping out of sport because one of the issues is that they're seeing this, so they stop eating, because this is the way they're going to lose it. Then they don't have the energy for the sport. So it's kind of odd, you know what, I'm not going to play that anymore because I'm wrecked. And, it's just, then we're in this cycle and it's, it's soul destroying to see it. But, and these are the ones then, like I say, they're on social media, so they're seeing all these detox teas and take this pill and take that, and you're thinking, oh my God, no, it is. It's very difficult, very difficult.
So then, so what advice would you give to, what sort of advice do you give to women about, about how they can kind of, impact their kind of energy or health through nutrition? What are you got any kind of key tips that you could share with me?
Oh, I have. I suppose the first thing is, to just look at your food as fuel. Okay, so it's just fuel in your body, it's fuel in your day, it is just fuel. And it's not good food, bad food. There's food that is more nutritious and will fuel you for longer. And there's food that is very, very tasty. And I suppose because I talk a lot about health as well, and it's finding what will bring us health. And there's so many aspects to health. It's not just being a particular number on the scale, And I'll talk about social health, like a lot of the women who join my group will say, oh my God, or I've had women who have said, I can't join now because I have a party next week and a party the week after. And I'm saying, but this is all a really important part of health. This is meeting your friends. This is sharing a meal together. You need to know how to be able to fit this in your life, and it's just like that, to be able to fit it in. So I'll always say there's 2 or 3 tips that I'll have, especially for women, because once we hit 30, our muscle mass starts decreasing fairly rapidly. So we're trying to maintain that muscle mass, the little bit that we have. So one of the things that's really important for that is to increase our protein and to keep our protein high. So the first tip I'll always have is to have a portion of protein at each meal, in particular, the first meal of the day. Now, that doesn't mean that it has to be breakfast as soon as you get up in the morning, but whenever your first meal is. Because a lot of people have this idea as well that, I have to have breakfast. If I'm eating healthy, it has to be first thing in the morning, breakfast. That myth has been, they've got rid of that one. We busted that myth. But to try and include protein at the first meal of the day. Because even if you look at a lot of people, and a lot of our ideas about breakfast are all very carby type of breakfast, you're looking at cereals and toast and things like that. And then people will go on, they might have a snack at break time, might be a biscuit, might be even a piece of fruit or something like that. Again, there's still no protein. Usually by lunchtime, people might have a little bit, but they've gone hours now at this stage without having some form of protein. So that'll always be my first tip. Try and get protein in at each meal and snack, but in particular, the first meal of the day.
So what would be an ideal breakfast to you then?
I love eggs for breakfast because eggs have your protein and your fats, which means they're really satisfying. So, you're not hungry as the day goes on. You could also look at the likes of, because a lot of people don't like eggs, you could look at the likes of Greek yogurt, would be very high in protein. A whey protein shake is always a handy one because whey would be a good quality protein and quite reasonable. Do you know what? Even if you look back at years ago, what did they have for breakfast? The eggs were, in Ireland anyways, because everybody had hens, so they were really popular. But a lot of people would have had like kippers and things like that, little bits of fish. Ideal, really ideal. So to think about things like that.
Sure I can face that.
Well, certain fish, no. But even what I would often have myself is, because I love the likes of turkey burgers or mincemeat burgers and whatever, burgers. I love burgers because I will cook 5 or 6 of them together and I'll just keep them in the fridge and just throw them in the microwave then in the morning. So like a turkey burger is an ideal start to the day. But definitely it comes to thinking, because people have this idea of breakfast food and not breakfast food. So you have to kind of get that out of your head. It's all just food. But a bit of smoked salmon, things like that are just, but eggs, like if you can go the likes of an omelette, because my second tip is to always look at your veg and try and again get that at every meal. So if you look at the likes of an omelette where you can add a bit of onion, peppers, mushrooms, whatever, that is just a brilliant, brilliant start to the day. Like it really is. And and they would be my 2 main tips. They would be the 2 things that I will try and focus on, because people are kind of, what macro split do I need? How many calories do I need to be on? And they're just so focused on all these numbers. And I'm kind of, do you eat much veg? No, I don't like veg. It's kind of, okay, well, we need to try and...
It's fine that there's so many veg, isn't there, that you can try. It's just finding a veg that works for you. So
you see, this is it. And again, people have this idea, I'm dieting, so it has to be green veg. And I have to eat loads of spinach and kale, but I hate them. And I'm kind of, no. Because and I've had girls join the program and it's kind of, no, I don't like any of that. And I'm saying, no veg at all. And, well, I like carrots and parsnips and mushrooms and peppers. And I'm kind of, but that's perfect. You find what you like. And I will always talk about Weight Watchers. That definitely came from Weight Watchers for me because you had to point your peas and sweet corn. I never ate peas and sweet corn because in my head they were... Like now I look back and it's kind of, it was the peas and sweet corn that was making me fat, like that, anything else.
No, I don't think so. Well, maybe if you put shed loads of butter on it, but
it wasn't the peas and sweet corn. But and it's to find things like that. Things that are quick as well. And that's why, because I would have a lot of sweet corn in this house now because it's tinned. So you just warm up the tin and it's ideal. It really is high in fiber. It's great. But those would be my 2 main tips. Definitely.
Mine don't really like tin corn, but they'll eat. But of course they'll like corn on the cob. But
perfect. That's and it's it's just to find what people like. And as well, like, okay, we always talk about variety and we love them to have variety. But you have to find what works for you and works in your house. If they have carrots every day, don't knock yourself. At least they're having carrots every day, And it's just, because I was thinking this morning of a post, and my whole thing is kind of doing something is better than nothing. And it's the same way with the whole veg, At least if they're getting some little bit in, obviously, if we talk about the rainbow, we'd love that in an ideal world. But for busy moms, it's kind of, it's something to knock ourselves about again. It's kind of, well, I didn't give them any blue veg today. And it's kind of, no, you didn't. But,
and it depends on your child as well, because, one of mine went to school yesterday and had chicken, veg and noodles, and the other one, when I looked, had a cookie. So then it's like sometimes you're just like, right, well, what can we make up for tonight, because you've not had
absolutely. Yes. And because I spoke about this the I spoke about this the other day because mine were just back on Tuesday. It was the first day that both of them were back. And there happened to be an article in some website I was on about school lunches. So I clicked on it, and there was this picture of a beautiful lunchbox with all the salads done lovely and the chicken, and it looked lovely, and I would love it. And I'm sitting there laughing because I'm thinking, imagine suggesting that to my teenage boy, that I was going to give him this for lunch. That's not happening. He goes off with his white bread and ham and cheese and his Jaffa cakes and his grapes. And I'm kind of, it's very much what will they eat, and like I say, for teenage boys, it's kind of, that's not going to look cool, man.
I was, I've got 3 kids, but all 2 eat really, really well. 1 doesn't eat kind of as great, let's say not great. So it's always been something that we've all had to kind of work on and try and slip in little new things now and again. And I think when he went to school, she'd be going with like, a salad or something like that. And he'd go in with white wraps with ham in. No,
but you see,
you could push it to a banana sometimes, but sometimes you have to sit there and come on.
But I suppose with kids in particular, and definitely as they become teenagers, they have such a calorie requirement just to grow and develop. That you have to look at that as well. And it's kind of, if it's white wraps and ham, at least he's getting calories in, do you know? And it's just, I think the more you focus on his food, for my child it was like that anyways, the more I was, no, eat that, the more he was just turning against everything. Whereas now I kind of look at it and it's like you say, I try and sneak things in, like even on the sandwich, I'll put butter on his sandwich because I don't like butter, so I've never put butter on their sandwiches, but I've started putting butter on his, because in my head it's kind of, well, there's a few more calories there now, like, so it's to try and get calories into him. But it is, it's just, like I say, it's to find what they'll eat as well, and like that, because on that day where I saw this beautiful lunchbox, I did take a picture of both of mine, and daughter has pasta, like she goes off with her pasta, but completely different for girls, because that's what all her friends come with. So it's fine that she sits there with her little pot of pasta, whereas, no, like I say, the boys, I'd say he walks around outside eating his sandwich. So there's no way he's sitting down with a fork and a little bowl of pasta. It's just to find what works. And it's the same with women. It's the same with us all. You have to find what works.
And when you're busy, and I suppose it's also, making sure that you take a lunch break and take a break to eat rather than eating at your desk. I kind of know that from a previous life, and we're kind of eating lunch at the same time as working, and you don't necessarily take in what you're eating or how much you're eating.
Absolutely. They talk about the whole mindfulness around your food, and it is a really, really good one. And one of the I suppose the little tasks that you'd often get kids to do is with a raisin, and you put the raisin into your mouth, and you feel it in your mouth, and you feel how it tastes, and you spend about 5 or 6 minutes just eating this raisin. And it's amazing. They are so, so sweet when you sit and you, like I say, you leave it in your mouth and you feel it and you think about it and you think about the taste. Whereas, like, you have people that'll just throw a handful of raisins into their mouth and kind of, we don't taste anything. And it's the same with like that when you're eating while you're doing something else. You're not concentrating at all. And like you say, we don't realize then how much we've eaten, or it's just. Whereas if you can sit and think about, how is this nourishing me? What am I getting from this food? Much more beneficial.
I mean, one of my friends, we talk about food, because there is, within my program, there's a module on food and a module on drink as well, and on the benefits of water and things like that. So, but very much focused on kind of your NHS kind of healthy eat well plate, which is can find on the NHS website.
Yeah.
Just talking to you about kind of trying to a balanced diet and the benefits of things and the effect on your mood by certain things that you eat. But it's really interesting because I think it was last week I went, oh no, I've just eaten some bread because I've been trying to be really healthy, over the past week, and I'm trying to kind of just be cautious about how many carbs I'm eating and making sure that I'm balancing it. She went, why on earth have you just said that? She said, I eat so many carbs and I eat, I eat like a man. But she runs so much and it's proportional to the amount of exercise that you're doing. And sometimes, yes, okay, I walk twice a day, but is that, I've got to be, I still have to be careful as to, as
He's not happy with me. Oh, look he's a gorgeous. Hello.
Let's forgive me because she is cute, but that's
very. We have a little schnauzer as well. He's adorable.
And
I think that's where, like, for a lot of the people when they join the program, it's to look at the amount of carbs, and carbs are very much what you use to fuel your sport. So if and this is when I say, that I would have been feeding the kids like I was eating, but I sit all day. Okay, I go to the gym, but I sit all day, whereas they are really, really active. And it's to realize that. So yes, your carbs will fuel your sport and your exercise, but how much do you need? Do you know? And this is where, like you say, somebody who's running needs a huge amount. But somebody who spends a lot of time sitting, we don't need as much. But that's where it's like the whole the bread, and I'll always say to people, okay, it's carbs, okay, it's all carbs. So if you have bread, okay, probably not as nutritious maybe as your oats or your rice or things like that. If you have bread, that's fine. You just maybe the next meal you cut back a little bit with the rice, or it's to look at it over, and I wouldn't even say over the day, I would say over the week, to look at it over the week and see, am I having more than I probably need? And then it's kind of, okay, how can I just alter things a little bit?
I think it's the best way to view it, isn't it? That it's over a week, because then if you have a rubbish day in terms of kind of healthy food, or I see there's me talking about it being a rubbish day, but let's say if you ate foods that perhaps aren't as nutritious as they should, as you would normally have on certain days, then it's not viewing it as, I've broken my diet now, so I might as well give up.
Absolutely.
I'm not using that word diet. It's just more of a lifestyle choice, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. So and that's where a lot of women will kind of set up, because actually that's coming next week in the program, where we talk about setting up your diet, and a lot of women will set it up that Monday to Friday they're a little bit stricter because they're in more of a routine. And it's kind of at the weekend, then I know I can enjoy a couple of glasses of wine or a takeout or whatever it is, because you're allowing for it during the week. And that's it. When you look at it over the week, it just removes that guilt of when you do have whatever it is you fancy. It's kind of, well, do you know what? Because I'm allowing for it during the week, I don't need to feel guilty. I can just sit and enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Katherine. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I don't think so now. I don't think so. It's been very enjoyable. Thank you for having me, Emma.
Oh, you're very welcome. And I'm sorry about my noisy little dog.
No problem. I have two, so I understand completely. I have to lock myself in a room so that they can't see me or hear me.
I do normally lock myself in here, but I just thought actually it was probably better that she wasn't scratching at the door. So and normally she. Yeah, but she heard something. Movement.
Yeah, you see, I wonder, because it's we have a schnauzer and a cockapoo, and it's our schnauzer that is just she sits looking out the window, and like if anything moves outside, she goes mental. So it's obviously in the breed, that kind of I'll protect you.
Cavapoo. She's a cavapoo. She just looks.
Oh, she's cavapoo. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, she's gorgeous. Yeah. Okay. Well, I've had a cavalier, and like I say, I have a cockapoo now. So yeah.
Yes. But she is noisy.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
Right then.
But they are.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Not at all. Thank you, Emma.
I hope that has helped some ladies, whether that be with their children or with themselves. And if you want to get in touch with Katherine, or see what Katherine does, how's the best way for them to do that, Katherine?
Well, I have a website at konutrition.ie, and I suppose Facebook is probably the handiest one. I'd be fairly active on Facebook and LinkedIn. So on Facebook, I think I'm Katherine O'loughlin.
Yeah, and we're friends on Facebook. So if you're friends with me, then you'll be able to find Katherine as well. Yeah. So and if you are wanting to reboot your life or work on your mental fitness, I'm running a free 5-day challenge that starts next week. And the details are, the link is in the details above the video. So thanks for joining us.